Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8 and 9, which is a great verse to memorize. It's a foundational verse. It says this, "For it is by grace you have been saved, through faith. It is not of yourselves, it is a gift of God, not of works, so that no one can boast." So the big idea of grace is that because it's a gift, grace is something we receive, and it's not something we achieve. Now, the opposite of grace then is legalism. And legalism is this idea that I can do stuff and work my way and perform my way into God's good pleasure. And one of the dangers of legalism, especially when it comes to our relationships with other people, is that legalism leads to us policing other people's behavior, policing their behavior against the standards that we have set. And I think we all have a little bit of legalism in our hearts. And ultimately, legalism leads to misery. So I wanted to give us kind of 3 miseries of legalism and hopefully challenge us to become more gracious persons. So the first misery of legalism is that when we're legalistic, our joy is never full, because we're constantly weighed down by the need to perform and behave and do stuff to somehow get into God's good pleasure. Secondly, when we're legalistic, our work is never finished, because we're constantly wondering, am I doing enough? Am I doing enough? And then that question eventually morphs into, well, if I'm not doing enough, am I enough? Am I enough in the eyes of God? And I want you to know that you are enough in God's eyes. And lastly, the third misery of legalism is that when we're legalistic, our standing is never secure. We never fully operate, or our starting point is never that we are sons and daughters of God. In other words, we're constantly performing for approval instead of from a place of approval. So one of the easiest ways to become grace-filled persons, especially when it comes to our relationships with other people, is to give other people the permission to be imperfect. I like to say it this way, that when we're gracious towards other people, we're giving them the permission to be works in progress. You know why? Because we're works in progress too. So I hope that challenges you to become gracious persons and to pray for whatever legalism might be in our hearts. Hope you have a great one. I'll talk to you soon.